Hey, what's up and welcome back. It's been a while, so this video is just going to be a short little one for me to go through some of my thoughts on the new blocks here. Basically, we have a crafter which adds a whole bunch of new functionality to what we can do, so we're opening up a whole bunch of new stuff. And then we have this copper bulb, which is going to kind of, I guess, upgrade all the builds we already have. So it's not adding new stuff, but it's going to be making stuff more compact, different. I don't think it's really adding any new capabilities though. But both of them are going to vastly change the shape of redstone. And because of that, going back over here, I had to go through and redesign my hotbars. They kind of needed it anyway. But I just kind of want to go through what I've got here, and I've laid them out here so you can just take a look easier. But first one, I have like my two blocks. I have solid transparent blocks, basic redstone components. I'm actually putting the bulb in this basic components just because I think it's going to be used that much. And then the second one here, we've got all my storage tech stuff because I'm more of a storage tech guy. So we've got, hoppers, this stuff, and this is where the crafter is going. I think the crafter is going to be super useful for stuff even beyond crafting. And then I've also changed some of the stuff in the end. Before I used to have the composter and that down here, but now since I can at least get up to like 9 fill levels by just ticking this, like that's so much easier. I think the crafter is one of the few things where you can actually give it a like comparator output without having to have extra items. Like the cake has to go in the composter here, and like any of these other ones you have to take items and put them in. So this one just lets you click in the GUI and change the output, which is amazing. And then I've got my filter items and my blocker items here. I used to have them way down in like 8, but I use them a lot, so I moved them up. Then we've got like the movable type stuff. So like mechanical, I guess is what I typically call it. So piston base, you got the stuff that sticks to it, redstone blocks, movable power source. I moved the composter up here because this is a movable, essentially, power source that won't bud the pistons there. And then I've got my note block for updates for the pistons and also for the stuff in here. And then a lamp because that's used for a delay a lot of times in these circuits. Then we've got rail stuff. Again, a lot of this is used in storage tech. So we basically got our 4 different types of rail and our hopper minecart. I used to have like chest minecarts and stuff hotkeyed here, but I never ended up using them. You almost always just use hopper minecarts. So they're the only ones I have in here. And then just different shape. This is used for like changing or like stopping carts in different positions. The mud block lets it fall through and is solid and doesn't slow it down. And then of course, now that we've got cart eating, I've moved the lava cauldron in here. I think I could probably find a way to get a lava cauldron in my inventory, maybe. I don't know. I'll have to look into that. And then we've got water stream stuff. Again, a lot for items. So you got your ices, your stuff to slow things or bubble them up and suck them down. I actually don't use this that often unless I'm doing an elevator. So maybe if I need more space, I'll take that out. Added an empty bucket here just so I could take water away in creative. And the rest of this is kind of the same. I've added the what is this? Amethyst bud? Yeah, amethyst bud, so that it just has a really useful hitbox both for carts and for like water streams. So added that. Then I've got my power sources moved up in front of my other keys here. So now I think this is what, 6, yeah. So I've got like button lever, pressure plates, blah blah blah. I don't have the stone versions. If I need them, I'll look them up, but usually I don't need like the different timings. So Then just the colored stuff, so I can color my things really quick. Sometimes I need more than this, but this will handle like 90% of what I need. And then we just got some extra stuff in the last two hotbars here. So I've got stuff for doing some remote things, and then the new barrel or the pots here. I think they're going to be pretty useful. They do have like a single inventory. They've got an interesting hitbox that goes all the way up, but on the sides it's shaped like a chest is, and then item frames, other stuff that could be super useful. Sand is actually used. I've been using that more and more with pistons lately to get some interesting timings and whatnot. And then we just got some other hitbox shaped things. I still want to find a way to get a drip leaf worked into like a functional build where it's one of the better solutions. Yeah. Anyway, those are my 9 things. Now on to the part that you probably are looking for. Right, so we have these two. You can check other videos to see how they work. Just real quick thoughts on the crafter here. First off, I think they did a really good job design-wise. I'm very impressed compared to like previous redstone components. The ability to like disable stuff, super easy to do. I really like that they have the signal strength outputting from 1 to 9 or 0 to 9. That's very useful. I heard other people saying they wanted it based on fill level just to be consistent, but I don't think those people realize how useful this is to have it just go to 1 to 9, not to mention like all the counters I've seen people come up with. Yeah, so hopefully they keep all this, and even the block itself, like the texture on it is greatly improved. They actually have, so I have a texture pack on here, but I haven't done either of these blocks yet. So you can see they have like little corners that light up, and those are actually like visible from several sides. The only place you can't see that is if you have like a lower perspective in the front or bottom. What I wish they would have done is add a couple more of these corners down here, because then you could actually see the state of it from any angle. Another thing too is they've also made it so that you can see directionally which way it's facing. So it's identifiable as a crafter pretty much from any side here, and you can see what it's facing in every side. Well, I guess you can see the bottom too. I guess it does have this little notch here. So they did a good job with that too. Yeah, so you can see directionality of it, which is really good. And the fact that you can point it up and down is amazing. That's something that I could have easily seen them overlooking. So overall, props for all the design choices they made when putting this together. I do have a couple little recommendations. One was, yeah, just the little red corners or something down here so that you can get it from the front side and the bottom side when the thing's powered and when it's not. Sorry, just reading my notes here. Oh, the other thing I wanted to talk about is like when these things are filled up, right? If I get a hopper and like throw some things in here, you can see how they don't fill in the first slot and then go to the next one. It kind of spreads things out, which is something I think is very underrated from what I've been hearing from other creators. I think this is going to be useful, or has the potential to be useful in the future, maybe turn into a useful feature later on. One thing I've always wanted is to be able to change the order, like have it fill from the front and then like empty from the back or something. Just something that we could change the order, because right now we have like a first in, first out, or last in, first out, whatever. Anyway, we need the other option for this, and that would be really good. But I actually think they should add it to the item hopper, or maybe have like an advanced hopper where you can like toggle, you know, and essentially have the same functionality where it fills like along one at a time per slot, and you could then toggle the hopper to behave differently, like fill from the front, fill from the back, fill like one at a time type thing. And then you could also like toggle how it empties. Or maybe this is like a feature for like a new like barrel item. I always think they need like a too high barrel. Like they have a double chest, but they need like a stacked barrel, and then maybe add the ordering functionality, because that would make sense, because like you put things in the top and then you have to take them out of the top before you can get to the bottom ones. I don't know. Just a lot of little random thoughts there. Moving on to the copper bulb. Yeah, this guy is powerful, and my initial knee-jerk reaction was that why, Mojang? Why have you done this? It was kind of the same reaction, I feel like a lot of people had when they introduced the observer, because we could already detect updates, right? But the observer just made the whole thing a single block, so it kind of oversimplified a lot of the existing circuits. And I think this is going to have a similar effect, both in simplifying circuits, but also expanding possibilities. Because there's a lot of these little toggle states in builds, and you used to have to build a contraption to do it, and that was like part of the challenge. But this is kind of taking that away. And while I think a lot of people are going to be upset, I think this is going to be overall a good change. Like, I don't think anybody looks back now on observers and says, oh, they're still trash, like they should have never been added to the game. So I think we're going to have kind of the same scenario around this. It's just going to change the way everything's made. And I'm actually really excited to get back to some of my older builds and be able to reimagine them with this in mind. I think it's going to change a lot of stuff. I might compact a ton of them, things that I couldn't do in certain spaces I probably now can do. It's going to be pretty cool. And this has a lot of little quirky features as well, like having single tick delays, like game tick delays and whatnot, that make it useful for other reasons as well. So basically just a couple things I had thoughts of, like with this crafter that I haven't really seen, but I'm sure other people have found. This is kind of like your bog standard, like auto crafter setup here. So I just have a bunch of wood planks in here, and if I unpower this, you can see I'm just creating buttons. And this is just because the signal strength is going up, crafting, and then going back down, and it works based on not having a whole ton of delay there. So if I shut this off, you can see we have one signal strength up here, and even though I'm crafting a button, which is a single thing, I'm able to like plug out these bottom slots to give it that 2 signal strength, so that as soon as it gets that first item, it then crafts and sends it out. And so like we can go to the next one here, which I've only blocked out 1, so now it's going to take 2 in, and if we use these planks again, now we're crafting pressure plates. Right? Same setup, and we've got a different number of things in there, and we can do the same thing back here. Well, if I don't cut it off early, right? So now we're crafting planks, right? Because I didn't have anything in here, so it'll load all 3. Turn that guy off. So this can be expanded out too. You can go another block out, and then it gives you 2 more signal strength to work with. So in this one, I'm just blocking this off. And this is going to give me crafters, right? Because it's going to do 4. 1, 2, this one's blocked, and then 4, which gives us our 5th signal strength. And this one here, I think this is going to do bowls, right? So this is a 3 again, but since we had to block off some stuff, we had to do the expanded version. And so you can create a whole bunch of different recipes just using this stuff here. And I think it's tileable. I think you can tile these ones with each other, and I think you can tile these ones with each other, and they shouldn't interfere because they're all based on getting like the same total signal strength. I don't think you can, well, maybe you can Yeah, you might be able to even tile these two, because once they get enough to go down, then they shouldn't leak over. Yeah, you can probably tile all of these here. There isn't any sort of control over speed, and you'll notice if I like flip this, I'll start getting buttons, so you can't power and unpower this at odd intervals. But yeah, so here I'm crafting sticks, and I've just added an extra weight down here so I can get it in crafting thing, because we need to go vertically. What is this one? Oh, that was the bowls. And what do we have over here? Oh, yeah, so this is just like a different kind of standardized thing where you can change what you want it to be. You do need this little stabilization. If you don't have this here, or say I like change it down to like 1 tick, you'll see it'll like double pulse and start giving me buttons in between. You do 2, and then you get that. And again, you can control for signal strength here, but this will allow you to do any recipe with this setup right here. And these should also be tileable. And then I was just kind of doing some funny things here. This was the crafty something crafter, whatever, I don't know. This is the crafty counter thing, right? Where you just click this button and you can see the signal strength increasing over there. So 5, 6, 7, like that. And it just goes up and then it resets. So I was just playing around with this, and I came up with a different one. So I wanted one that was not 0 index. See how this goes down to 0? And this actually can deal with like fewer crafters. So it's just a crafter pointing into a dropper down here. But when I change this, it goes up 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then when I hit this, it goes down to 1 instead of 0. There's probably maybe a better way to do this, but this is pretty simple here. And then you can go over to 2. Unfortunately, it does this little pulse down and then back up. So not perfect, but interesting stuff. Then we've got this copper bulb here, which basically just toggles back and forth. Super easy. Power it from the side. Oh, this is inverted, so this is falling edge, which could be very handy. But I mean, you're just inverting the input, right? Yeah, and then you've got binary counter type stuff here. Yeah. And yeah, you're just using it as a power source. So this is something that I had as a suggestion written in my notes. Oops. Right. So this outputs a signal strength of 15 currently. My suggestion was going to be that the different levels of oxidation output different signal strengths, right? We could do like multiples of 5 or 2 or whatever, 3, whatever it works out to be. And I think I heard somebody say that they're actually already going to do that, because that would be super cool. Now we have like a movable power source that can have different values, but like up to 15, because we could do this with composters, right? But this only goes up to 8, and it can't do 7 because the 7 will turn into an 8. But this would let us have like other values of like at least 15 here. And of course, you can't do this with a block because you end up butting your piston and it gets stuck. So one other thing that I've found super useful with this copper bulb is for stabilizing observer inputs, right? We have a change of state, and it changes down here, and then it changes back, and it changes back. So often I've had issues where I would get 2 pulses out, right? Say you have a button. Let's go grab a button. Put that in here, right? So when the button goes off, it would send a pulse, and then when the button turned off, it would send a pulse. But that's not usually what you want. You just want to like send your one pulse through your dropper line just to wrap it around. And it used to be you'd have to do some sort of stabilization circuit on the other side, and it sometimes used pistons, and it would be annoying and like have pistons or hoppers, and it wasn't nice. Now we can just essentially run it into a copper bulb, take the output, and we've stabilized our input transfer essentially. Super useful. I'm going to use this all the time. This is going to fix so many of my circuits. Yeah, and the other thing too to note is that this also gives us a nice, easy way of running these things side by side. There were ways to do it before, but now it's just really nice to do. All right, what have we got here? I think this is. Oh yeah, this is just more of what I had back here with this guy, except we're now using the copper bulbs. If we come over here, I think this is just a based one, or like a one index counter, and we got rid of the pistons. It still does that little flash, but super nice. So one indexed here. And it's just a couple of comparators facing into each other, a single crafter and a single dropper. And I just have the redstone up here just so you can read it out. It doesn't actually need to be there. Same with this one. This is just a vertical version. Again, they're pointing back and forth, two comparators facing back, and you're just getting this copper block or copper bulb just to divide the signal essentially. So you're not pulsing the dropper an extra time. And I've got one that goes over, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, one of the things I mentioned earlier is these copper bulbs also have little delays. So we can see if I press this, you can see the pistons go in a nice wavy motion there, right? And that's because we have, for this middle row, we have 0 ticks of delay, 1 game tick of delay, and 2 game ticks of delay. Whereas before, we used to get this 1 game tick offset used to be significantly more involved. Like you'd have to use scaffolding or something else. But now we can put it right in a row just with these other things here. Technically, I don't even think I need that one, because it just powers through here. But yeah, so this is super cool, and this will be super useful in a ton of other designs. Yeah, so I guess just final thoughts on this. Initial reaction, super powerful. I think even the texture on this is not bad. Like you can see they've added the little red thing when it gets activated. Like if they're gonna keep doing this, I'm gonna be super happy. Because essentially what my texture pack does is go in and adds these where they're missing. But if they're built in already, I'd be super happy with that. Yeah, so they just need to keep that up. What else do I have in notes? Oh yeah, another thing about this is I always wanted like a transparent toggleable light source, right? Because a lot of times I have like these chest stacks, and this is like my chest hall or whatever is arranged like this, and I always want to put a light on the top chest to like indicate that this slice is working or that it's full. But then I right click on this and I can't open because this is a solid block, so I can't open the chest. So then I'm stuck on doing something with like trap doors or something. But now I can take this, put it there, and I can open the chest. Amazing. And all I need to do is probably be a little more finagly with how I power it, just because it needs to be powered twice to turn on and off. But yeah, so far, super amazed. I'm hopefully going to be putting out some more videos, and they'll probably be a little bit more well thought through and condensed than this one. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I have a compact categorizer update that's been in the works. If you've been on the Discords, then you probably already know about that. And the other thing is I've been working on some brewing stations, which I'm excited about, but I haven't made a video of yet. But yep, anyway, I should have more videos coming out, so stay tuned for that, and I'll see you in the next one.